Our time is one of great contests, high stakes, and clear choices. The essential divide that runs all around the world and throughout history is once again thrown into stark relief. It is the divide between those whose thirst for...
He does not look happy. Can you imagine which one I'm talking about? Now, many of us have the unfortunate curse of resting face. We can almost say Pompeo has that. You see his hands in front of him, fingers intertwined, and the thumbs up together. And he's almost in a stare-off. We watch him again.
It is the divide between those whose thirst for control deludes them into thinking they are destined to rule over others.
So you see a whole lot of brain movement there with the eyeballs, and you saw a head shake in the positive. Now, we have no idea what's going through his mind, but based on the little that we saw, this speech is apparently very important in Pompeo's world. It makes me think that he doesn't have forethought into it because he's thinking it out on the players in his mind and how they participate and interact. And because he's given so much attention on to the speech and watching it so closely, we're seeing some stress there with that.
I have the immense privilege of addressing you today as the elected leader of a nation that prizes liberty, independence, and self-government above all. The United States, after having spent over $2.5 trillion since my election to completely rebuild our great military, is also by far the world's most powerful nation. Hopefully, it will never have to use this power. Americans know that in a world where others seek conquest and domination, our nation must be strong in wealth, in might, and in spirit. That is why the United States vigorously defends the traditions and customs that have made us who we are. Like my beloved country, each nation represented in this hall has a cherished history, culture, and heritage that is worth defending and celebrating, and which gives us our singular potential and strength. The free world must embrace its national foundations. It must not attempt to erase them or replace them. Looking around and all over this large, magnificent planet, the truth is plain to see. If you want freedom, take pride in your country. If you want democracy, hold on to your sovereignty. And if you want peace, love your nation. Wise leaders always put the good of their own people and their own country first. The future does not belong to globalists. The future belongs to patriots. The future belongs to sovereign and independent nations who protect their citizens, respect their neighbors, and honor the differences that make each country special and unique. It is why we in the United States have embarked on an exciting program of national renewal. In everything we do, we are focused on...
I will say, for him, he keeps leaning on this side. This seems to be like his most comfortable side to lean on in this direction. And I don't mean like, oh, this is the good place. This could be who he's directing his speech at. But he mixes it up really good. But this is a side he actually will lean into. Whereas the other side, he just kind of turns and leans over. This one he leans into.
On empowering the dreams and aspirations of our citizens. Thanks to our pro-growth economic policies.
As you can see, as he's turned, he's not really leaning.
As the United Kingdom makes preparations to exit the European Union, I have made clear that we stand ready to complete an exceptional new trade agreement with the UK that will bring tremendous benefits to both of our countries. We are working closely with Prime Minister Boris Johnson on a magnificent new trade deal. The most important difference
I'll go back and look at them again.
We are working closely with Prime Minister Boris Johnson on a magnificent new trade deal. The most important difference in America's new...
Well, happy smiles are still good smiles, aren't they? I guess we can just go one by one. So the first one that really catches everyone's eye, or at least my eye, we're looking at the two gentlemen in the back, the rainbow thing neck. He's been half smiling, stress, but we don't know what the smile is in reaction to because it was the entire time that we got to see. And then the gentleman that's next to him with the maroon tie with dots reacts to someone as he looks over to them, and he's smiling there. So we have no idea what that reaction is to and why the smile, because it was not about a trade deal. And then we have the gentleman in front of him with the UK flag pen on his jacket. We also see stress in his forehead and looking around and not really reacting to a Boris trade deal. And then we see the woman. Enough said.
Not only has China declined to adopt promised reforms, it has embraced an economic model dependent on massive market barriers, heavy state subsidies, currency manipulation, product dumping, forced technology transfers, and the theft of intellectual property, and also trade secrets on a grand scale. As just one example, I recently met the CEO of a terrific American company, Micron Technology, at the White House. Micron produces memory chips used in countless electronics. To advance the Chinese government's 5-year economic plan, a company owned by the Chinese state allegedly stole Micron's designs, valued at up to $8.7 billion. Soon, the Chinese company obtains patents for nearly an identical product, and Micron was banned from selling its own goods in China. But we are seeking justice. The United States lost 60,000 factories after China entered the WTO. This is happening to other countries all over the globe. The World Trade Organization needs drastic change. The second largest economy in the world should not be permitted to declare itself a developing country in order to game the system at others' expense. For years, these abuses were tolerated, ignored, or even encouraged. Globalism exerted a religious pull over past leaders, causing them to ignore their own national interests. But as far as America is concerned, those days are over. To confront these unfair practices, I placed massive tariffs on more than $500 billion worth of Chinese-made goods.
Now we're starting to see him quietly talk with hands. All that movement back and forth, reading the teleprompters from his prepared speech. And now we saw the little movement of a hand come up. So everything he's been saying and he's been holding back, that hand comes up on this part of the speech. You know what they say about trade wars? They lead to hot wars. Keep that in mind, because this is equivalent to changing the locks after you break up with somebody. You know it's final then.
I have told Kim Jong-un what I truly believe, that like Iran,
So we see how the brain looking, and we're talking about Pompeo.
his country is full of tremendous untapped potential.
And then you see that slow movement, and he slows himself down as he turns his head to scratch his head. And what is it in that face? It doesn't move. So we're putting on our poker face. That resting face really is just a face. He's mad. He is not happy. We don't know when he got mad, what started it off, because we don't see him as he comes in. We don't get to see him as he's being read the speech. So no particular moment. But this is not a happy camper.
But that to realize that promise, North Korea must denuclearize. Around the world, our message is clear. America's goal is lasting. America's goal is harmony.
Yeah, I've seen North Korea before, and they're just like sticks up their butt. Antsy. This guy is much more relaxed, and not in a bad way. More of like he's actually part of the international community way. You know, there's the outsider body who's always like, oh my gosh, all these people are my enemies. And then there's the person who's part of the international community who knows where the enemies are and actually has allies in the middle of it. I do not know why the lady in the back is laying down. I would consider this woman too relaxed.
If you'd like to learn more about analysing body language, there is a video course available on Mandy's website for Gold subscribers, where Mandy teaches more about her techniques of deception detection. There's also other content such as the Crime series and Interesting Minds series, available to both Gold and Silver subscribers.
If you like it, please share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.